Melancholy and despair in the wood to the west wind. We must remember that Shelley family was noted for aristocracy and wealth. The poet, being the eldest son, was heir to the title and wealth of the family, but was gifted with the untamable individuality of genius and bent on piercing to the very truth beneath all shams and fictions woven by society and ancient uses. Shelley, even from the boyhood, was driven to disown aristocracy, wealth, and title, all for the sake of personal freedom and hostility to conventional morality. The poet, even in his boyhood, hated tyranny and stale customs, was most revolutionary in his spirit and in his activities. He pictured himself to be the Providence messenger heralding the birth of a new society of the imagination. For such a person, imaginative, idealistic, independent, and even revolting melancholy and despondency is natural. Gifted with sharp sensibilities and full of dreams, romantic poets are apt to feel sad and even gloomy. For a poet of sorrow, For a poet of Shelley's pattern, this earth of ours cannot be but a sphere of sorrow, because it falls short of the idealistic perfection of the poet's imagination. In the Ode to the West Wind, the poet, after describing the great power of the west wind on the earth, in the sky, and on the sea, before making his personal prayer to the wind, reveals himself as one who has fallen from the pedestal of power and energy, buoyancy, and spiritual impulse because of the custom and tyrannies of society. He bears his sad, depressed heart, devoid of the burning zeal which marked his boyhood and early youth. He has fallen on the thrones of life. He bleeds, and his spirit, once as tameless and fierce as that of the west wind, is now all vacant of, of power. He, therefore, asks the west wind to lend him some of its great power, to lift him as a wave, a cloud, a leaf, and let him feel the irresistible urge. He prays for its help in his sore need, for he has a mighty task in hand to sweep away the age long accumulated mass of filth and dirt of conventions and customs, of slavery and tyranny, of ignorance, hatred, and pain that strangle society. He wants to achieve at a single stroke a society compatible with his emotional idealism, the golden age of his dreams, the utopia of his fancy. Shelley had his share of sorrow in the worldly life, the suicide of his wife, the adverse criticism of his contemporaries, his failure to regain his children, the hostility of his relatives, the calumny hurled on him. His romantic and sensitive mind could find no peace and no rest anywhere, because the world itself was so imperfect, humanity so cruel, and true love such a rarity.